Director of Rugby, Les Kiss, has a worrying injury list to contend with. It's always one of the most eagerly anticipated games of the season, Ulster against Munster. Well, last week both sets of fans showed why Irish rugby supporters can rightly be regarded as some of the best in the world, with their tributes and their togetherness in honour of one of Ireland's finest players. And it's fitting that it is a full house tonight. Well, welcome to the Kingspan Stadium for round 7 of the Guinness Pro 12. Stephen Ferris and the former Ireland coach Eddie O'Sullivan are with me. Good evening to you both. How difficult will it be for both of these sides to try and set the emotion aside tonight after the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think it will be difficult for both teams, but I think more so for Munster. They were in such a high last week after their performance that they put in, riding on emotion, I'm sure, during that game. Will there be a bit of a come down this week? We'll soon find out in the next 15 or 20 minutes if that's going to happen. But I still feel Munster are going to be up there, and Ulster have to rise to what Munster are going to bring. And hopefully they can do that. But it's going to be a tough night for both teams. But you just got to get out there, and rugby can sometimes take your mind away off things that's just happened in the last couple of weeks. So he'll never be forgotten. But tonight there's a match to be played, and hopefully Ulster boys can come out on top.
After the game last week, Eddie, we can see some really moving scenes. So how difficult how difficult a week will this have been for Munster to try and get back to some sort of reality?
Well, the difficult thing is to move on, and you have to move on, get on with the job in hand. And that's the big challenge for them. And I'm sure during the week they would have had moments when they felt they were right and moments when they felt they weren't right. Their mind goes back to what happened to Anthony. But coming here tonight, if they just need to keep their nerve and keep their focus for the best part of 2 hours, and I think a good performance from Munster would kind of settle their nerves a bit, get guys' heads straightened out a little bit, because it has been a difficult week or so for them. But I think they're professional players as well. They know the importance of it, and it's a very important game for Ulster as well. So there's two teams tonight need good performances.
Okay, Eddie, Stephen, thank you very much. We look forward to hearing more from you at half-time. Munster are unbeaten in 4 games against Ulster, and they've won their last 2 visits here. Let's see how things unfold tonight in the company of Ryan Constable and Jim Neely.
Well, it's an emotional tinged evening here at the Kingspan Stadium. But as has been mentioned by the chaps in the studio, there's a job to be done. And this Munster side, Rassie Rasmus, has made just the one change up front, with Jack O'Donoghue coming into the back row alongside skipper Peter O'Mahony. Duncan Williams and Ian Keatley started half-back. Ronan O'Mahony's on the left wing, and at full-back is the former Leinster flyer Andrew Conway. Still a fairly formidable side despite 1 or 2 injuries and Ireland call-ups. And there they are, the law being laid down by one of the great, well, he won't mind me saying so, hard men of Munster and Irish rugby in recent years. The 32-year-old man from Shannon, Anthony Foley's very club, Donnacha Ryan, just having a word with the rest of the side. Not much, as you can see there, in the way of a breeze, and the pitch in perfect condition. And Rob Herring leading Ulster out for the 20th time. It's the 20th time that he's been skipper. And behind him, good to see back playing at Ravenhill once again, is Tommy Bowe. And what a reception for the current league leaders, and what a reception for Rob Herring, deputising for Rory Best, who's here with the family. Well, Les Kiss has made no fewer than 8 changes. Callum Black, Rob Herring as skipper, into the front row alongside Vian Herbst for his first game of the season. Dan Toohey in the second row for his first, and Robbie Dagg back at number 6. And behind the scum, Darren Cave, Tommy Bowe and Craig Gilroy will start, with Charles Piatow, man of the match against Exeter, moving to his preferred position of full-back, though he can play just about anywhere he likes. And many congrats to the man regarded as the world's #1 referee, Nigel Owens, who was awarded an MBE in the most recent birthday honours list. Now the top referee in the world in terms of test appearances, and tonight is league appearance number 139. Paddy Jackson to start for Ulster. And gathered in fairly easily by Munster, something which Ulster didn't execute terribly well against the Exeter Chiefs a week ago. Duncan Williams, as ever, with that familiar head protector. And he's popped that into touch. First line out to Ulster. Have you seen better conditions for this time of the year, Ryan Constable?
Excellent conditions, fast track, world-class referee. Two sides knowing the gravity of this game in an Irish context. There's caps to be played for. That Canada game, particularly, a lot of these players will be putting themselves forward for opportunities there and looking forward to a fast-paced game.
Well, already a bit of a stoppage because of an injury to Ulster's second row forward, Franco van der Merwe. They're wearing number 4 is Dan Tui, playing his first game for what seems like an absolute age. And he's got a bit of a bang in the nose as Franco van der Merwe. There's another man starting for the first time this season, Vian Herbst, who looks as if he shed a pound or two. He looks in pretty good shape. And this fella here, well, it'll take more than a bash in the nose to stop Franco van der Merwe. So that's a bit of a plus for Ulster. I thought, my goodness, we're not going to lose another second row forward. Franco van der Merwe calls them all in and says where he wants the ball to go. And Callum Black will come and tell the skipper, Rob Herring, where the ball's to go. Herring with the first line out. Oh, well taken. Pinar to Darren Cave at inside centre. Across that 10-metre line of the visitors. Pinar in quickly. That's a clever-looking kick. Underneath it is Gilroy. Herring's chasing as well. Wonderful take there by Darren Sweetenham. In his first serious senior year. And this is well done. Keatley hasn't quite found his touch. He finds his opposite number, Paddy Jackson. Piatow. Listen to the roar when he gets the ball, but look at that line of red jerseys in front of him. He managed to get past the first tackle. Pinar to the open side. Callum Black nearly got away. Pinar in there quickly. Darren Cave, his first receiver. And again takes it straight into the opposition.
He's part of the rock, play on.
Gilroy. Munster tackling absolutely ferocious. They broke down Glasgow piece by piece last week. That's a good kick by Paddy Jackson. Is anybody underneath it? The answer is Conway. Well tackled by Ulster's try score against Exeter, Sean Reedy. Pretty unflappable in defence, mind you, this Munster side. And there's a very mobile prop in Dave Kilcoyne. Keatley just outside his 22. Well taken by Gilroy, who's well taken by Ronan O'Mahony. Ulster won that. Tommy Blow at scrum half. Here's Vian Herbst. Played for the Ulster A side last weekend in the British and Irish Cup. Cave again. Interesting little kick. Good chasing there by Ulster, and they may well have forced the line out.
Their ball in play for long passages. Munster will be acutely aware they'll need to kick accurately, they'll need to chase well. Real potent back three from Ulster counter-attacking wise. It's that Munster forward pack that delivered the platform so well last week, and that's where they'll see their key strengths in this game and be looking to dominate in that aspect of play.
Munster step, lads, please.
Ulster have taken a couple of players out of this line. Just a little glance tells me that Roger Wilson and Sean Reedy are in the middle of the Ulster back division. Well won by Tui. Good to see him back in action. Jackson, that's clever. Was there a bit of obstruction there? Doesn't matter. Darren Caves picked it up. I think they might want to have a little look at that, because Luke Marshall was absolutely clattered. Now, did he have the ball or not? We wait and see. Pinar. Jackson. Well tackled by the Springbok, Jacko Tauta. Here's the New Zealander. And he does a good job of rucking for Craig Gilroy. Pinar. Vian Herbst looking trim. Robbie Dyack. Very nearly got through. Clever piece of play by Dyack. Well, all the pressure coming from the home side. Luke Marshall trying to find a way through. Just slipped inside Billy Holland. This is better stuff by Ulster. Vian Herbst. Pinar changes to the open side yet again. Callum Black, Ulster's loose head for this evening. Cave. Outrageous dummy.
Nobody there.
Pinar in quickly. Robbie Dyack.
Nobody there.
Well tackled by Dave Kilcoyne, among others. So far, that Munster defensive line is holding firm. Jackson with a cross-field kick for Gilroy. Gilroy jumps, knocks it back to Piatow. This is going to be a try for Ulster. Out of just about nothing whatsoever. Splendidly done by Craig Gilroy. And Charles Piatow, lurking with serious intent, swept it up, and Ulster got their first try. Well taken.
Yeah, a lot of patience in that build-up. They went through multiple phases. Some excellent defensive work from Munster. The hits certainly aren't disappointing, but that ball in the air, contestable kick on a sixpence from Paddy Jackson, and that contest in the air ultimately being won by Ulster and resulting in that try.
Well, Gilroy did wonderfully well against two Connacht defenders. Both Conway and Sweetenham couldn't get to it. And you've only got to give this fellow the slightest of sniffs. What a beautifully placed kick, though, by Paddy Jackson.
Yeah, perfect placement. And what Gilroy does so well is comes from almost out of place, that he can get the angle, keep the ball in his eye line, and he's jumping up towards it. That allows the knockback and Charles Piatow on the spot to complete.
Well, he set up the try a week ago for Sean Reedy against Exeter in the European Champions Cup. And he scored one himself, his first try, incidentally, for his new club, Ulster. Jackson just drives it in nicely indeed, and that's not a bad start at all. Just about 6 minutes gone, and Ulster leading by 7 points to 0.
Very good defensive work from Munster leading up to that, not showing any signs of being broken down despite numerous attempts by Ulster, and forced to go to the air, but executed particularly well.
Fian Herb's got a bit of bandaging around the head as Keatley restarts. Gilroy.
Hold on.
Luke Marshall had that one charged down, or half charged down, away by Ryan. Good tackle by Dan Toohey, putting himself about. Duncan Williams. Ulster have always had a tendency to concede points immediately after they've scored them. Williams away again. And Munster will redouble their efforts. Again, they go to ground. Williams on the narrow side. Kilcoyne, that perpetual motion battering ram. Duncan Williams. Tommy O'Donnell, good to see him playing again after an awful injury into the summer of last year. Scannell. Donahue making a lot of ground. Williams again. Munster being nice and patient. Here goes Keatley. Here Kilcoyne, who's got the pace of a centre. And back inside, and this is good stuff by the Munster men. That's how close they are. Play on, said the referee. John Ryan, the tight head prop. Ulster in danger of conceding a try, and again due to a lack of ability to receive the restart kick, which has been a huge problem. On the open side, Niall Scannell, the older of the Scannell brothers. Williams again, dropped, but it went backward. Gilroy in there tries to rip it away, but Munster hanging on and digging in, and well presented. Duncan Williams, Kilcoyne, little flat pass. Munsterman scattering Ulster defenders. Jaco Tauter, Sweetenham, given no room whatsoever. Darren Kay, for some reason, appealing to the touch judge in the near side. I'm not quite sure why. Billy Holland, who captained Munster for the first half dozen games this season. Duncan Williams. Munster really applying the bludgeon. Holland, little pirouette, well tackled and pushed back to still inside the Ulster 22. Scannell the elder. Or Scannell the younger, I should say.
Good contest.
Duncan Williams. Donnacha Ryan, well away. Ulster closing Munster down pretty well. That's going to go into touch. And that's good defending by the men in white. I think Nigel Owens has actually spotted a knock forward by Ulster in the tackle, and he's going to give the first scrum of the evening to Munster.
There's some outstanding ball carrying, Kilcoyne featuring prominently, and the space is created out wide, but an excellent defensive read from Tommy Bowe comes in. Ball gets knocked on in the process, but a clear overlap had developed after serious build-up work from Munster.
Yeah, Dave Kilcoyne's been a bit unfortunate in recent seasons that the two outstanding Leinster loosehead props, Cian Healy and Jack McGrath, between them have been dominating the #1 shirt for Ireland. There is Kilcoyne, and beside him the formidable presence of Donnacha Ryan. And Rob Little looks as if he might be coming on. I'm not quite sure who's injured. It's Darren Cave. Now, he's had a bit of a problem with a calf in recent weeks, and that's going to make life a bit more difficult for Ulster, because Cave is playing at inside centre. So what do you think, Ron? Luke Marshall have to move to there. They might bring Tommy Bowe in off the wing to play at outside centre. So not a great start for Darren Cave, unfortunately. Former Ulster skipper and Estonians, Ulster, Ireland and Lions centre Dr. David Irwin with him.
Yeah, it looks like Pietau's moving into that 13 channel. Gilroy dropping back into fullback and Little taking the place on the left wing. But dangerous attacking platform here from Munster. 2 men placed on that short side, and they'll be relying on Ruan Pienaar to nullify that threat.
Standards from this first
Nearly 9 minutes gone, first scrum of the evening, and this was an area which Munster dominated against Glasgow at home last week.
Bind. Set.
Ulster 5 pounds a man heavier, which is interesting. Scrum has gone down on the far side, but the referee's happy enough. Duncan Williams, cleverly done. Andrew Conway. Williams. Donncha Ryan. Ulster must release the man, they do. Williams again, clever stuff now by Munster. Back inside.
Flat.
Taken on by Tommy O'Donnell. What a great back row. O'Mahony, O'Donoghue and O'Donnell. All the O's. Keatley with a little dummy. Brought to the ground in no uncertain fashion. Billy Holland again. Tackled by Franco van der Merwe. Jack O'Donoghue. Herbst with the tackle. Good clearing out by Munster. It's left for Duncan Williams. Again it's Holland. Great handling by the men in red. Rory Scannell looking to weave a way through, and there is no way through as yet. Back to Keatley for the drop at goal, and he hasn't quite made that one. Well, is that a sign of frustration that they weren't making any headway in terms of the Ulster defence?
It's some excellent defence by Ulster, not making any ground on that, and forced to revert for the drop kick as Ulster go quickly.
Well, Rob Herring couldn't quite get it away, and are also going to be undone by their own cleverness. Pienaar, Gilroy, Pietau. Off to the replacement, Rob Little, who's just put his shoulder into touch to give Munster the line out. 10.5 minutes gone, 7-0 to the home side.
Interesting watching the tactics of Munster. They're going back down the short side a lot. They'll hit a pod and then immediately reform on the short side and go back down that channel. Looks to be something that they've focused on in the preparation for this game. Maybe seen something in their analysis. But Ulster thus far remaining to keep their defensive line intact.
Rob Little bundled into touch, was drafted into the side yesterday after the captain's run, when the man originally to be on the bench wearing number 23, Jacob Stockdale, damaged a finger in training. Niall Scannell. Mr. Croyd didn't think that was desperately straight, but the referee was happy, and that's all that matters. Wants to try to make some ground. Robbie Dyack trying to scrabble his way over the top of a raft of red jerseys. Duncan Williams, oh, there was nearly a gap there. Well tackled by Paddy Jackson. Nigel Owens looks like he's enjoying himself, just having a little glance to see what's going on. Scannell, Niall. Good continuity yet again. Good tackling there by Luke Marshall on John Ryan.
Hands away, Reggie, no loss.
Referee's saying that Munster get the hands away. Ulster looking for the turnover. They haven't got the turnover, but they've got the penalty. And that is good defending by the home side.
Yeah, once again, just not able to make that impact, looking for those short pick and goes around the side, but Ulster's defence up to it on this occasion. Munster have brought that aspect back to life in their game, working around the fringes, working in pods of 3 forwards, latching on and driving through contact, and when they've looked good this season, it's been a result of that go-forward ball.
Good solid strike by Paddy Jackson to take play into the Munster half. 12.5 minutes gone on that thrilling Charles Pietau try. Jackson's conversion, the difference between the sides. Also not in any great rush to get up to this line-out. Looks as if it's going to be a full 7-man line-out. Interesting, Sean Reilly standing in what would normally be the scrum half position with Ruan Pienaar at the front of the line-out. That was a bit of a mess. And Munster will try to capitalise. Reilly has to backpedal and tackle on the retreat. Duncan Williams, Ian Keatley looking for a man inside him. Paddy Jackson wasn't buying it. Duncan Williams again. Jaco Taute. What a good tackle by Luke Marshall. Working hard at the breakdown. Taken on by Jack O'Donoghue, gets across that Ulster 10-metre line. Williams, Donnacha Ryan, 6'7", the tallest man in the park. Thought there was an extra movement there. The crowd. John Ryan, who's named on the Irish training squad for the first time. Sweetenham, knocked forward by Ulster, not deliberate though. That was in the tackle. Referee playing good advantage. Jaco Taute takes it on again, capped 3 times for the Springboks. Conway at scrum half, Holland in the outside half position. Here's Kilcoyne, runs into Rob Herring, gets no change out of Ulster's captain.
Stay out now.
Good cleaning out by Keighley. They need an outside half, Billy Holland fills in. Wide now to Munster skipper Peter O'Mahony, ducked into the tackle. Williams again, Keighley again kicking.
Time out.
And the referee's blown the whistle. There is a flag out. Well, that's going to be harsh because I think it was maybe highish, but let's hear what Nigel's saying.
Because he was falling down to the ground. Do you agree with that?
The arm came swinging round, so.
Yeah, but to make a tackle and there was nobody there.
We need to have a look at that.
Okay, then have a look. Tim, show me, please.
He wants to have a look at that. I think it might have been Charles Piatow on Peter O'Mahony, Ryan.
Yeah, Nigel Owens needed convinced to have a look at that. He saw it in real time and felt that it was okay, but they will have a look at that.
Now, he does duck down. Oh, I don't think there's any contact there. He went right under his. He maybe just caught him on the top of the head, but he went right underneath. There was no malice therein, and it was, well, O'Mahony ducked down. But if you're going to apply the letter of the law, well, let's see what Nigel Owens says. He's having several looks at it.
Again, Tim, please. Okay, we didn't see it. They only saw it once quickly, because then the screen went off.
Okay, it's coming again. We've got 2 angles.
TMO is his fellow Welshman Tim Hayes is letting him have another look at that.
Okay.
From that angle, it doesn't look good.
I got it.
Doesn't look great in slow-mo, but as you said, there was a fall. The arms are being wrapped. It's not a shoulder charge, so we'll wait and hear what Nigel has to say about it.
Well, he's going to bring Charles Piatow over. Now, this would be pretty detrimental to Ulster's cause if last week's man of the match was binned.
You are a bit unlucky. You go to make the tackle and he slips as you make it. It's high and it's nothing more than just a penalty. Okay? Thank you.
That is great refereeing.
Yeah, that's why he's one of the world's best referees. He understands the situation as he slips into it. Technically, the tackle results in being high, but some common sense shown there and a penalty to Munster.
Well, he was probably a wee bit trepidatious there as he came over to speak to Nigel Owens, and Peter O'Mahony has asked his outside half Ian Keatley to have a pop at the Ulster post as we come up to the quarter of an hour gone.
The other thing you've got to like about that is Peter O'Mahony does get hit pretty hard, but certainly doesn't milk it. He gets to his feet and he gets back into position, and an opportunity now for Munster to get some vital points. They've been in Ulster territory for a long time, have nothing to show for it. They'll certainly feel that they deserve 3 points.
Well, this is the man who kicked the winning penalty. In fact, kicked all 9 of Munster's points. 2 penalties and a drop goal when these sides last met at the Kingspan Stadium way back in January of this year. Louis Ludick scored a try and it was converted, but Keatley's late penalty won it for Munster. This a chance to close the gap to 4 points. Well, he would look back with fondness on that particular effort. Is Conway. That's a clever kick by Andrew Conway. Underneath it, Tommy Bowe. And Tommy Bowe holds on a little bit too long for Nigel Owens' liking, and Ulster have given away another penalty, and Munster have another chance. And it's the right side of the field this time for Keighley.
Yeah, an excellent take from Tommy Bowe in the air. Jaco Taute gets there early, gets the player on the ground, gets to his feet, starts competing, can't be dislodged, and some excellent work at the breakdown.
Well, Peter O'Mahony has decided that he wants territory because he's got possession. And Munster have now, with 16 minutes gone, forced the line out, which is the closest they've got to the Munster line since we kicked off here at the King's Span.
Inside the 50.
Now Scannell with the throw. Good take at the front, cleverly manoeuvred. Rory Scannell.
On the chest, play on.
Good tackle by Luke Marshall. As Scannell made it available, he certainly has. Duncan Williams. Here come the big men in red. Thundering forward. John Ryan. Again, Ulster defending. Munster have had to concede a metre or so. Donegal Ryan met with force. Duncan Williams. Kilcoyne will have a go into Piata, who just throws him to the ground like a rag doll. A pretty substantial rag doll, though. Duncan Williams. Niall Scannell. This is good stuff by Munster, but equally good defending by Ulster. But for how much longer? Good tackling by Robbie Dyack. Tried to hold the man up. There's that driving, churning red machine moving forward toward the Ulster line. You almost feel they can stretch out. Well, all the pressure coming from Munster. Williams, Keatley. Good defence once again. And Bowe does well. That's good work by Tommy Bowe. But the ball back in the Munster side. Duncan Williams has it. His captain Peter O'Mahony makes ground. O'Donnell is in there too. Again Williams. And again Kilcoyne. Dyack put in the tackle.
From the side. Red.
Coming in from the side.
And again, Ulster just doing enough in those tackles to slow the ball down as Munster just get that momentum with those pick and goes, which have proved very successful. And Ulster managing to get those pillars and posts into position just around the ruck, and another outstanding defensive effort denies Munster any points.
And that's another good strike by Paddy Jackson. Another man named on the preliminary Irish squad for the autumn series.
Timeout.
Luke Marshall in there as well, and Craig Gilroy.
Yeah, please.
Bit of a problem there with big John Ryan, who's having a very good season. Now 26 years of age, just coming to the right age for a top-class prop forward. He's played for Ireland at club international level and for the emerging Ireland side, and just signed a new deal to keep him with Munster until June 2019. That's always good to have some of the... Interesting, if you look at the Munster forward pack, every single one is a Munster man. There are 4 from Cork, 2 from Limerick, 1 from Waterford and 1 from Tipperary. And not Ryan that the Ulster forwards won't give everything, but Roger Wilson's the only forward born in Ulster.
Yeah, Ulster producing a number of exciting outside backs, and they'll be looking for that academy system to start churning out some of those tight forwards and be able to match that statistic from Munster. Just shows how healthy the game is in that area, that they're able to produce that quality of player. And Munster would have come here thinking that the forward pack is going to be the team that, the part of the team that needs to provide that platform, and he's certainly going through a huge amount of work carrying ball, some excellent ball security and work around the breakdown, but so far it's been Ulster's defence that's managed to repel them.
Ulster's line out from the penalty. Paddy Jackson might have looked for an extra metre or two from the official on the far side. Rob Herring taken well by Dan Toohey. Desperate to get himself back into the Ulster groove. Now 31 years of age. Well, that's been given lots of height but not much distance. Knocked back by Tommy Bowe. Pulled in by Ulster. That's a good drive. And it's produced a penalty. Well, that's a case of Ulster matching the Munster power up front.
More or not, number 2 joins in from the wrong side.
Yeah, Nigel Owens just
from behind,
seeing the maul call. A few of the Munster players a bit over-exuberant, coming in from the side to wrap that one up and ensure it didn't come back in a scrum feed to Munster, but Nigel Owens cute to that tactic.
Well, it was well pulled in by Roger Wilson, and he set off at a fair old lick, and had Franco van der Merwe and Sean Reedy with him. And Paddy Jackson has put in an absolutely cracking touch finder. Coming up to the end of the first quarter, and Ulster back where they were. when they scored after just 4 minutes.
And after those 4 minutes, it's really been all red. Munster inside the Ulster 22 for long periods, but for them, they'll be frustrated they haven't come away with any points. Need to change from that attacking mindset to one of defence and ensure they don't give away Ulster cheap points on their first visit back here for a while.
Again, it's Tui at the front. And Ulster trying to churn around. Munster have dug in, though. With Peanut having a little glance to see what's available way over to his left. Peanut has the ball in his hands. Jackson. Pieta, this could be interesting. Gilroy. Hand off and sidestep. Ball went backward. No, Nigel Lowndes was right on the spot. Says it was forward and playing advantage to Munster. Away comes Niall Scannell, the Munster hooker.
No.
Not a million miles away from a second try. Keatley under a bit of pressure. And that's going to be an Ulster line-out, so they'll not be too unhappy with that.
There's some good work on this occasion by Munster. Charles Pieta, very dangerous with that amount of time and space. Uses that footwork, beats the first defender. Excellent cover from Jaco Tauta coming across, and then ball goes to ground, and Ulster get an opportunity to reset with another line-out.
Ruck form, no pressure at all, okay?
Franco van der Merwe has had a word with him. Dan Tui, desperate to get on with it.
Outside, outside.
They've moved Roger Wilson up to the front of the line-out.
Stay on the line,
a lot of big men there at the back of that Ulster
Okay.
line-out. Tui and then Dyack and then van der Merwe.
Line it over.
Tap back, pulled in by
Backwards.
Callum Black after Roger Wilson had a wee adjustment.
Release, right.
Ulster have lost about 5 metres. Van der Merwe takes on Archer. Not Archer, I should say John Ryan. Jackson. Pieta gets it away just about. Luke Marshall has to hold it in.
Red, knock on wide.
Knocked on by Ulster. Just a little bit of over-elaboration in the middle of the park, but a lot of that was down to good defending by Munster. Here's Tommy O'Donnell.
Move away, White, move.
Well, outside the 22, so Duncan Williams can't put it directly into touch. Knocked forward there, and knocked into touch.
Scrum on line, boys.
Yeah, Ulster on a couple of occasions they've been in the 22 in the last two phases, just guilty of some individual errors, not getting that continuity, having that patience to build that pressure, and they'll look to spend some time with ball in hand, being forced through a heavy defensive workload and want some time just with ball in hand.
Come out.
Craig Gilroy.
You two were good last time.
Now capped 8 times by Ireland. The last time during the summer tour to South Africa, only played in the first and second tests.
Get it higher and long.
Duncan Williams with the headgear on, incidentally. Congratulations to him. If my sums are right, it's Duncan Williams' 100th league game in the red of
Shoulders
Munster.
out, guys, please. Bring that back so we can have good. Crouch. Bind. No. Set.
Karen Black on the Ulster loose head side. Good scrimmaging technique there by flanker Sean Reedy. Ulster not giving too much on the Munster put in. Referee will tell Duncan Williams to play it. Keatley. Flat ball to Rory Scannell. In fact, it was Jaco Tauta. And Munster having to go to ground. Slow ball for the visitors. Holland. Keatley to kick again. Now, who's underneath that? The answer is Craig Gilroy. Knocked forward by Gilroy. Play on, says the referee. Also could have been doing with pulling that in. Duncan Williams, there's men wide if they can shift this. Tauti gets it away to Tommy O'Donnell, who can run. Williams in quickly. Now it's Keatley who set the whole thing up. Peter O'Mahony, the Munster captain. Williams, good pressure from the visitors. Back inside to Scannell. Rory Scannell. Jack O'Donoghue. Happy at 6, 7 or 8 in any back row. Ryan. Franco van der Merwe makes the tackle. Williams Munster on the narrow side. Rob Little into Peter O'Mahony, and has done well to hold him up. Seemed to be just nudged forward by Munster, and again Ulster's defence is holding firm. But again, underneath the high ball, they haven't been all that good today.
Yeah, it's an option Munster used particularly well in the middle of the park, but it's been those pick and goes and those little pods that have got them into that 22 area, and then fortunately for them, they're just not able to take it that one step further they need. They get it to that 5 metre line, and then invariably some decent Ulster defence causes that turnover and releases that pressure.
Roger Wilson getting a little bit of treatment for Ulster. Paddy Jackson taking on a little bit of water. It's a fairly heavily strapped knee there for Roger Wilson, who tonight wins his 215th Ulster cap. He's played more games for the province than anybody else, and if you suddenly think that he played 117 or 118 games for the Northampton Saints, that's, if my sums are correct, that's something in the region of well over 330 senior club games.
Yeah, massive contribution to both clubs, and a real stalwart of the game, and still trucking for Ulster, getting some running repairs, but he won't want to leave the field of play.
So the oldest player in the squad and the most capped player in the squad in terms of Ulster appearances, and a man who, well, I certainly feel deserved a lot more Irish caps than the single one he got away back in 2005 against Japan. Well, as ever, a very decent crowd here, and what is just about the perfect Friday evening for rugby. Roger Wilson patched up, and Robbie Dyke will welcome him into the middle of the back row. Ulster scrum. Under 15 minutes to go to the interval. If it stays like this, Ulster will be happy enough. Munster, needless to say, will have other ideas. Where he is going at the end of the season has not yet been revealed, but he'll always be welcome here, needless to say. Ruan Pienaar, one of the greats. Dyke concentrates on his scrummaging efforts. Good strike by Herring, and what a good position that is by Callum Black. Great scrummaging by the Ulster loosehead, picked up by Sean Reedy. Luke Marshall made a bit of ground. That's good. Ooh, and Pienaar gets himself in a little bit of bother there. For the first time, I think, in dear knows how long, he looked up, and here comes Kilcoyne. Now Munster might be able to capitalise. Duncan Williams. Tommy O'Donnell, taken by Wilson. Keatley into Dyack, trying to hold him up and hold the ball up as well, but Keatley has done magnificently to get it back.
Release!
Rory Scannell met with a white wall. Still there, Dave Kilcoyne, always dangerous. Williams looking to go left, and he does. Donica Ryan. Williams again. Tommy Bowe puts in a thumping tackle. Touch judge having a really good look, but it's back on the Munster side, taken on by their captain, Peter O'Mahony. Billy Holland at scrum half. Kilcoyne. Good work by Vian Herbst. Again, Holland at scrum half. They don't care who goes to scrum half because they're all forwards. It's gone forward. And Ulster got away with that one. Well, you probably forgive Ruan Pienaar because he does so much else magnificently. Just a wee lapse of concentration by him. I think he was looking before he had the ball secured.
Yeah, that led to the turnover, and then Munster, having tried everything else, tried to set up that little mauling platform, one pass out from the ruck, and got the structure right, but then the transfer of the ball a little bit panicked, and that created the knock-on. But frustrating, I'm sure, for the coaches, establishing that field possession, and then frustratingly in that sort of 5 to 10 metre zone out, just unable to finish it off.
The Munster dressing room, when they arrived, the Munster players were greeted with a special plaque erected by Ulster Rugby to commemorate
Just give yourself some
Anthony
space
G.
as well,
Axel Foley, the Munster coaching team there, just second in from the right with a pencil. Munster Irish hooker Jerry Flannery, and Razzie Rasmus there just pointing out a few things. Had a chat with him before the game.
Shoulders.
Delightful fellow and a pretty decent back row forward in his day, if I recall, playing for the South African Springboks. And here's a man with the ball who's played no fewer than 88 times.
Set.
Picked in 3 different positions: full back, outside half, and of course scrum half, and played as a replacement in the wing, on the wing and in the centre. Good Ulster scrum. My word, what a change for Munster from last week. And Ulster been a little bit too clever. Have they turned this one over? I don't think they have. It's a bit untidy. Sean Reedy is trying to get it back. Referee telling Munster to roll away. Pienaar. Well taken by Andrew Conway. Ulster seem to be warming up Clive Ross, so Roger Wilson might not be all that healthy. That's not a good situation for Ulster. Duncan Williams looking for a wee gap, which wasn't there. Ulster need to get away from that. Referee's having a good look, and he's penalised Munster.
It looked like Rob Herring was the man that got over that ball, got his hands on it in a split decision there. Just managed to stay on his feet long enough and claim the ball, and penalty ensuing.
There's a Munster player over the ball there. And Paddy Jackson again strikes it very nicely. And the great Roger Wilson, not just as indestructible after all, has left the field, and Clive Ross has come on. He's played in just about every game, either starting or as a sub this season, so he's well used to all the patterns. This is the 37th Ulster appearance for the former Leinster Academy and Lansdowne player. He's certainly played pretty well this season, hasn't he, Ryan?
Yeah, once he got that opportunity, he certainly made the most of it, and impressive stats in the tackle and power through the contact, and Ulster will be looking for more of that tonight.
Great work at the back of the line out there by Robbie Dyack. Sean Reedy comes in. Luke Marshall takes it on. Good solid Munster defending. Ulster still just inside their own half. Pienaar. Dan Toohey. He did well to present it nicely. Here goes Ross. Into O'Donoghue. Jackson. Well, that wasn't good at all. And away comes John Ryan. Ulster really making life difficult for themselves. Ulster come hurtling up out of the line. That was Piatau. Here comes Conway, who's got loads of pace. Plenty of support there. Referee, my goodness, well, Ulster managed to steal that. And away comes Piatau. Tackled by Peter O'Mahony.
Stay out.
Well, Ulster living right on the edge here at Kingspan tonight. Pienaar needs to find his touch. Tommy Bowe chases, knocked it back into the arms of a Munsterman. Looked for all the world like Billy Holland.
Too slow, wrong way. Advantage.
Ball was knocked forward, I think, by Ulster. The referee's got the hand out. I'm not sure whether it's a scrum or a penalty. It might well be a penalty.
Yeah, not rolling away quick enough, and again Ulster just guilty of turning over possession, not able to get through more than one or two phases, and not showing enough respect for the ball to keep hold of it and build something. And again, it's Munster now with a decision whether they kick for line and try and build some more pressure. Haven't been able to break that line yet, or look to get some points on the board to have something to show for all their efforts in this first half.
That's where the ball was knocked forward. It was Rory Scannell, not Andrew Conway, knocked it forward. And Keatley's gone for the corner. What a good touch he's found. Just under 10 minutes to go to half-time. Ulster still, by their very fingernails, clinging on to that 7-point lead. Following Charles Piatau's 4th-minute try and Paddy Jackson's conversion. Ulster quite a little bit on the quiet side. They've got to get behind the side when they're defending as opposed to just when they're attacking. Munster ball. Stolen. But you can't really fault the effort of the Ulster forwards this evening.
Advantage not gone. Stay. Advantage over.
Referee said the advantage for the knock-on was over, and Ruan Pienaar does absolutely the right thing and finds his touch because he's cleared the line by some 25 metres.
Yeah, once again, though, it's Ulster in defensive mode, and Munster trying everything they can. Given the conditions, we may have hoped for a more expansive game. Ulster would certainly like to play that way, but haven't had the possession to be able to do that, and Munster certainly playing to their strengths, going to that forward pack and trying to bullock their way over.
Niall Scannell taken by Donnacha Ryan. Tommy O'Donnell up to and over the 22. Duncan Williams, Ian Keatley, a little show. Jaco Tauta, the 25-year-old, but they've lost it. Now it's Piatau. That's the sensible thing to do. Gilroy is legging it down. All the way back goes Andrew Conway. He's no slouch himself. And forced to kick. And puts in a very good clearance kick. But Ulster's aggressive defence has allowed them to progress up the field by about some 80 metres. And they've now got the ball with 7 minutes of the first half to go.
And Munster, for all that possession and territory, just unable to capitalise on the scoreboard again. This opportunity comes for Ulster to clear their lines, and they just kick it deep downfield. Great chase by Gilroy, real urgency being shown there, and that forces Conway into the clearance kick. And Ulster now just need to show some patience with ball in hand.
Well, that's a good start. That's another well-won line-out by Ulster. Trying to drive forward. Rob Herring is trying to stay bound. There's a Munsterman who certainly wasn't bound, and that's brought the penalty. Piatau couldn't quite get away. Referee still waiting for advantage, and he'll come back for the penalty against Munster for the infringement at the driving line out. I think might well have been John Ryan who came round in an offside position.
Back there and you let it go, and then you came round, one through the middle. You swam up the side.
Yeah, Ulster, you would think, with a 7-point margin, opportunity to get 3 and go 10 points clear, and big decision coming up whether they take those points or kick the touch. And Ulster have decided that they're going to reciprocate Munster's attitude and not go for points, go for something more than that.
You can't release your bind on the side.
Terrific crowd here tonight, and among the crowd, one of the old-time greats of Irish and Lions in World Rugby, one Cameron Michael Henderson Gibson, who could play in just about any position behind the scrummage as well. An interested spectator here. Crucial line at Rob Herring, well taken at the front by Ulster yet again. Here they go with this churning drive, which has worked pretty well for them in the league so far. It's gone to ground, so they won't be able to complete the execution of the forward drive. Tui sets it up well.
Keep your feet, lads!
Kicked through by Munster. Rob Little. Oh, he's done well! He's right through. Unbelievable by the youngster. 2 tries in his Ulster debut at the start of the season against the Newport Gwent Dragons, and he's simply wriggled through a whole raft of red jerseys.
Well, that came from nothing. Poor quality ball, spits out and manages to get his hands on it, and then it looked like there was a blanket of defence really ready to envelop him, and as that bounces along the ground, 2 players come and beats the first, straight through 2 and under the post. Ulster will be delighted to get those points. Very good pick up to start with acceleration, power through the 2 defenders, and a lovely dive to finish it off.
Well, he dipped the shoulder wonderfully and brushed off the challenge of Keatley, and Dave Kilcoyne in between them. Well, the 2 Munstermen couldn't stop him. And what a time to do it. Just as half-time approaches, Paddy Jackson has added the extras, as they say, and Ulster, having been under so much pressure after their initial try, have come back and scored a second try, converted it, and with 4.5 minutes to go to half-time, they lead by 14 points. How did he get through, Ryan?
Well, there certainly wasn't any space. Munster have been so physical all night, just falling foul to that. Often difficult when the ball's bouncing around the ground. You're not focused on that defence, and all of a sudden he finds a way to wriggle through that exceptional piece of individual talent.
Left or right, yeah?
Just 19 years of age. Keatley, that's a good restart kick. Now, can Ulster manage this one? No, they can't. Taken on by Niall Scannell. And again, Ulster, well, quite awful, really, at the restart. Oh, Piatau's taken it away from Tommy O'Donnell. What strength and commitment by Piatau. And Pienaar thought about passing, decided to kick. Conway has only one decision, that's to run, but he's well tackled. Ryan. Rob Herring is in there, likewise Vian Herbst, and Keatley again decides to kick, and that might bounce handily enough for Munster, but it's going to be an Ulster throw. Well, Munster will be looking to get something round before this half-time whistle goes.
Yeah, they'll certainly need to. Ulster, you would say, against the run of play for both of their tries, very well taken, but not the result of any concerted pressure or build-up in territory and possession, whereas Munster have enjoyed favourable statistic in both those areas, but crucially not being able to convert that to the scoreboard.
An extraordinary piece of ball stripping there by Charles Piatow. Short line-out has been called, and Ulster win that one again. Dan Tui has been terrific out of touch. It's great to see him back, and with a lot of tough games, including this one, to be negotiated, Ulster will welcome back somebody of the Irish International's experience. There's a massive kick by Ulster. Sweetenham knocks it forward. Referee waiting for advantage, none comes, and Ulster will get the scrum. So those little 50-50s now going the way of Ulster.
Yeah, they've certainly had to muscle up defensively, and it's that has kept them in the game, and they've made the most of the opportunities they've created to get points on the board.
Peter O'Mahony just in the wars. Duncan Williams just shepherded into touch by Ulster's skipper Rob Herring. Peter O'Mahony, another man whose career in the last 12 months been hampered by serious injury, and I've capped 35 times for Ireland. His 76th appearance for his beloved Munster.
37-50.
Played 3 out of the 5 games for Ireland in the last World Cup. It looks like he might have just jarred a shoulder or something, getting a little bit of help there. Well, Les Kiss in the middle, scribbling down notes as ever, hand on head behind him. Operations Director Bryn Cunningham, and he's having a word with his head coach Neil Doak. Well, they'll be pretty happy with the scoreline, if nothing else, so far, Ryan.
Yeah, plenty of aspects of the performance they'll look at and try to address at half-time, but it's easier to do that when you're staring at a 14-0 scoreline than what it could have been, given the amount of territory and possession Munster have enjoyed.
Just keep doing the same, okay?
Just over 2 minutes remaining. Ulster inside their own half by a matter of 5 or 6 metres.
Crouch.
Nothing much between them in the scrums. Roger Wilson going off with sort of reduced Ulster's overall pack weight advantage. Good strike by Herring and good control at the back. Sean Reedy playing number 8. Pienaar, now Jackson to Piatow. Is Little off the wing. Oh, straight into the arms of Conway. Not so good by Ulster's second try scorer. Trying to make up for it though. Didn't judge that terribly well. Jack O'Donoghue knocked to the ground. Ulster need to get out of it, and they do. Williams probing the far side. Taute. Andrew Conway, always a threat, whether he's on the wing or at full-back. Keatley again. O'Donoghue into Callum Black, who stands his ground. Quick ball now by Munster. Keatley. Dave Kilcoyne. Well tackled by Robbie Dyack. Keatley. Big thump there by Clive Ross. Back on the Munster side. Scannell. Van der Merwe with the tackle. Helped by Reedy. Ulster trying to retrieve the ball, but Duncan Williams has it. Rob Herring holds him up.
Let it go.
Referee telling Ulster to let it go, and they oblige. Ryan. Scannell. Holland. Sweetenham. Well away to Niall Scannell, who did well to come back in field. Billy Holland at scrum half. Probably thought there might have been an accidental offside. Ronan O'Mahony, first real touch of the ball. Here comes Jaco Taute. Oh, he's very nearly through. Ulster can't afford to miss first up tackles. Rob Little has come all the way over to the far wing. Holland back inside. This is going to be an interesting situation. And O'Mahony, who's just emerged from nowhere, has set it up nicely. Also could be in a bit of trouble here. Kilcoyne Had 3 men outside him. Chose to go on his own. We are into the red zone now. Can Munster
Thank you.
get themselves a score as half-time beckons? Ulster digging in. Donica Ryan, tackled by Black.
Advantage one. One-side advantage.
Referee has the hand out for a penalty, it would seem, but Munster will want more. Slow ball coming back. Oh, nicely done. It's going to be a try.
Try is good.
And as Rory Scannell gets in, referee was playing advantage. And Ulster, just when they didn't need to concede something, did concede something. And Munster very much back in this game.
Yeah, nothing less than Munster deserve. They battered away at that Ulster defensive line. On this occasion, they managed to generate consecutive quick ball that stretched the Ulster defence, and they'll certainly feel that that's due reward for all the effort they've put in. They've been physical, they've been abrasive from the start, haven't been overly creative, but they've finally got some rewards for all their efforts.
And again, a miscue by Ulster gave Munster the possession, and once they had the possession, they simply kept that ball until they got the score. This is a tough conversion for Ian Keatley. So great to see so many Munster supporters have travelled from the southwest of this island for this particular game, as they always do. Keatley, who had a penalty miss after 15 minutes. This is not an easy kick either. He needs to get this one. And he's made a mess of that one. And Ulster will breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. So half-time, Ulster 2 tries to 1 up. And they'll not be too unhappy with the scoreline. 1 or 2 little errors, which I'm sure they'll think about and work on at the interval. So here at the Kingspan Stadium, as we resume the Pro 12 competition, Ulster leading Munster by 14 points to 5.
Well, Ulster's defence remained resolute until injury time. It's 2 tries to 1 to the home side, 14 points to 5. They lead. Stephen Ferris and Eddie O'Sullivan have been enjoying a very entertaining interprovincial at times in the first half. Stephen, give us your assessment.
Yeah, I think it's been a pretty good display from both teams, although I don't know what the possession stats are, but Munster had a lot of ball there in the first half. Ulster having to make a lot of tackles, but in saying that, Ulster's defence looked fairly solid, I'd say, throughout. A couple of times maybe in the wider channels early on they get caught, but I think they'll go into the shed happy enough at half time, and if they can get the ball in the second half, hopefully we'll see another couple of tries.
But certainly Munster with their tails up going in at the break, Eddie, as Stephen said, with the amount of possession they had, probably a deserved score.
Well, they needed to score, because had Ulster held them out there would have been a lot of question marks at half time. In terms of the possession, as Stephen referred to, I mean, Munster dominated that first half with the ball and in good attacking positions. To fair to Ulster, defended well, and they couldn't break Ulster down. Unfortunately for Ulster, they gave that try away. That brings Munster back into the game. Had Munster gone in without a score there, I think, you know, you'd have to wonder where they're going to go next. So it was in terms of excitement, it was dour, because there was a team holding on to the ball with no penetration and the defence working well. But it was a good toss from that perspective, but not the most exciting game of rugby we've seen this year.
But some flashes of brilliance for the Ulster scores. I mean, the first score, Ulster came out of the blocks very quickly, as they have been doing.
They always do. And it's good play, a ball in behind here, and they get the turnover. And I think Big Dan too has been fantastic in the line-out. He gives them a great option, and he's been, it's brilliant to see him back again after a long injury. But keeping the defence honest here, a wee chip in behind. We've seen Paddy Jackson early on in the game. You going to ball the boot quite a bit, and 2 of the Munster lads go up for the same ball here. If that had been me, I would just let Craig Gilroy catch that ball and bundle him in the touch. But Charles Piatoi's there, like any good player is, to sniff it out, and he goes in under the sticks.
Eddie, what have you made of Paddy Jackson's performance first half?
Yeah, it's been a good balance to it, as we referred there. He's been moving the ball well, he's been running himself occasionally, and his kicking game has been varied. He's kicked well in behind Munster. I mean, that was certainly lucky, but in terms of Munster defended it badly, but the kick was on the money. And I think he's got a good balance to his game at the moment. He's pulling the strings pretty well, but he hasn't had too much opportunity because Munster have dominated possession. And I would like to see if Ulster get more possession in the second half. Now, will Jackson actually manage the game all the way through?
Ulster certainly took their chances with the ball that they did have. For a player who wasn't on the original squad tonight, scoring a try for them.
Yeah, Rob Little, come on. And you know, when a ball I think Ryan alluded to it there in commentary, when a ball just bounces about, defenders can be caught napping, and that's exactly what happened. I think it was Tommy O'Donnell missed the first tackle, Dave Kilcoyne missed the second tackle, and he's a good finisher. He's quick off the mark of 4 or 5 yards, and he showed that. Look at that, just kicked out, bang, a little bit of turn of pace, and again, and away he goes. A wee bit of a swan dive where he'll take a bit of slagging in the change rooms, hopefully after a win tonight. But you have to put that down to poor defence from Munster.
Yeah, Munster will be very disappointed with how they defended that.
Well, if you think of the 2 tries they've conceded, one was a botched cross kick where they really could have controlled it with a little bit more, better use of their resources. And then, two players missing a bad tackle on a winger. That if they put him back on his backside there, would have turned the momentum on that, and they would have probably got the ball back. But they missed the tackle, they gave up a soft 7. So, I'm sure Munster are frustrated now because they've had a lot of possession. Ulster have had 2 real sorties into the Munster 22 and scored 2 tries. And I suppose they'll take some solace out of the try they got. But more questions, I think, for Munster than Ulster at the moment.
Munster were abrasive at times. They pummeled the Ulster defence. It's never that entertaining to analyse. But Ulster's defence tonight has been firm, hasn't it?
It has been firm, and it all starts with the tackles. They're just putting the pressure on the lads, and they're forcing the Munster boys into mistakes. But I don't know about you, Eddie, if you're the Munster coach sitting in at half time, what do you do to try and break this defence down? Because at the minute they're just they're in the 22 and they're not really getting anywhere.
I think what they need to do is they need to go more back to the direct game around the breakdown. Take Ulster on in tight, because Ulster do tend to collapse around the breakdown if you punch through them a few times, and there will be space on the outside. But at the moment, Munster are playing too lateral for their own good, and Ulster are comfortable shepherding them into the contact situation. So if half-time Munster need to just kind of maybe play more directly. One-off runners are pick and jam more to collapse Ulster and try and find a space. We saw Ulster being good at the ruck as well, because when Munster move the ball away, the resources aren't there as much as they need to be. So I think what Munster need to do is be a bit more direct in the second half, make Ulster work harder on the collision rather than trying to play across them too much. For Ulster, they just need to keep doing what they're doing on defence. They're shepherding the Munster attack very well.
I think Ulster lost 1 line out in the first half, but Dan Toohey has been pretty influential in that area on his first game back, hasn't he?
He is. And I'm not sure who's calling the line-outs tonight, if it's Franco van der Merwe or Robbie Diak, but they're all capable of it, and it's great to see the big man back in there. He adds a bit of beef, he adds a bit of grunt. There's a hard edge to Dan Toohey, and that's why I like to see him in the side. I know he's only coming back, he's played a few games for the A team, but it's good to see him back in there. And he's putting in big tackles, he's winning ball in the line-out, he's leading by example, and that's exactly what he was brought in to do.
The Ulster pack have performed well at times, Eddie, from the set piece, but then in the back line, a couple of turnovers when Piatow got the ball will be disappointing for them.
Well, yeah, Piatow is definitely the man to go to in terms of making stuff happen. And you see every time he gets the ball, his panic into defence. He's just forcing it a wee bit. He's doing the damage and then trying to go one step further with an offload or a kind of a loose pass. And the problem with that is it gives the defence a chance to recover. If he just makes the damage and lets the ball come back, they're in a much better place. I would say to Piatow is do what you're doing, but don't go that step further with the offload. Just play it through the phases and the good things will happen.
We hear so much about the offload, though. Would you not be encouraging your players to offload as much as they can? Or
when it's on, I think he's forcing, and you can see the other players aren't expecting it because it doesn't look like an offload situation. No, he can pull the rabbit out of a hat. We know that. But both he and the receiver have to be on the same page. And I think when you consider the lack of kind of opportunities Ulster have had, when they get into those positions, they need to hold on to the ball and not give it back to Munster with a loose pass. You
agree? Yeah,
definitely agree. Although Charles Piatow's in the 13 position now. Darren Cave had to go off early. So instead of those offloads of maybe 5 or 6 yards, you need somebody on his outside shoulder taking a small offload off on the outside, or just holding on to the ball like he did against Exeter last week. And we recycled the ball. Ruan ended up hitting the ruck, and we recycled it. Sean Reedy was there first on the scene to pick up the ball and got the try. So I totally agree with Eddie, but at the same time, if it's on, it's on. And if Charles Piatai can make it happen, hopefully he
but
can.
they've got to get the ball to him. I mean, he's the man to go to.
He liked an offload himself, Mr. Ferris.
He never let me offload.
At 14-0, Ulster were certainly in the ascendancy, but that try just before half-time has really opened up this game, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, as we said, it throws Munster a lifeline. I mean, had Ulster kept a clean sheet there, and they had to work hard for it, and they just lost concentration. They got a bit too narrow. Robbie Dyack couldn't get to the corner, and it was a walk-in the end. But psychologically, Munster are back in the game now. There's a lot in that for them. Even they missed the conversion, and Ulster would have said we had a chance here to really give Munster a kind of a situation where they couldn't see a way back. Munster seeing a way back now, so it puts the game to life again, but maybe not what Ulster wanted.
It's funny watching there, Nigel Owen puts his hand out, and the Munster lads, this is a free play for them, so they're just going to go for it. And sometimes if you're in the defence and you see the referee put out their hand, you can switch off the odd time. Robbie Dyack just need to get wider, trust the lads on his inside, and there's definitely Charles Piatai would have got out there and helped him out, but it's a lifeline to the Munster lads. Hopefully they don't capitalise on it in the second half.
Okay, thank you very much, Stephen. Eddie, let's go pitch side now and join Gavin Andrews. He's talking to a man who all Ulster fans are looking forward very much to seeing in a white shirt soon.
Yes, the good news is Marcel Coetzee is in Belfast. Marcel, what's the state of play with this knee injury? Everyone wants to see you out there. When are we going to see you back?
Oh, well, it's going very well so far. I feel personally the management group has been unbelievable so far, and if all goes well according to the plan, we're looking at mid-January, maybe the first week of February, so hopefully it will come to that, yeah.
You've been here a couple of weeks. How are you settling into Belfast?
No, it's been unbelievable. I mean, the people and the city of Belfast has so much to offer, you understand? And I just want to personally thank you, every fan that has come across my way and just made me feel welcome, me and my wife Chanel, and thank you for the humbling experience we're experiencing at the moment. Yeah.
Your South African teammates helping you feel at home?
No, definitely. It doesn't feel like I left South Africa yet, to be honest. But yeah, well, we talk about the South African guys, but also the other guys in the squad as well, the Irish boys. They've been just so awesome, and I already have a couple of mates, and just can't wait to make my debut in February. Yeah.
Well, what are the Ulster fans going to see from you? What kind of style of player are you, and what are you going to bring to this team?
Well, as a player, the people that know me know I love playing towards the rucks, and I love my ball carrying and defensive game as well. So overall, I bring a big physicality game, which I enjoy, and that's my type of game. I love to play the game hard and physical, and if the people can feed off that, that'll be wonderful, you understand? But yeah, it's definitely an area in the game which I enjoy immensely. Yeah.
What do you make of this occasion, this Irish derby?
No, it's unbelievable. If you take the two teams that are playing at the moment, it's a great derby game, and the weather allowing the conditions, just to throw the ball around more, which is entertaining for the crowd. Where I feel sometimes when the rain comes down, it will be close quarter battle, but it's unbelievable. The fans, either way, it's unbelievable culture experience for me, and looking to be part of it someday. Yeah.
Ulster going to go on and win this, do you think?
Oh, I hope so. no, definitely, it's looking good. It's a tight call now, especially with that try there in the end. But, the defence are holding well in the 22, and they must just continue putting the pressure on Munster and just scoring from that. Yeah, then I think we'll be fine.
Good man, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers, Marcel.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much indeed. I know from what you've heard and what you've seen in the video clips, Marcel Coetzee is your type of player, Stephen.
Yeah, that's music to every Ulster fan's ears right there. Physicality, he loves getting stuck in the breakdown. We have been lacking a big, strong ball carrier since Nick Williams left last year, and when this man gets fit, there's no doubt that he's going to bring a physical presence to the game, and I'm really, really excited to see him out there. Everybody in the stadium's talking about him. Hopefully he delivers.
The growing injury list, not just for Ulster, but right across rugby at the minute, Eddie. You do need to develop a very big squad, don't you?
You do, and I think a lot of it is, we all talk about the physicality and the size of the players, but the thing for me that's different is it's not unusual now for an attacking phase to last 16, 17, 18, 20 rucks. All those rucks are collisions on both sides. So the amount of contact, the volume of contact in the game has gone way up, and the continuity makes that happen. So I think it's something that's not going to change. The game has changed that way. There's more ball in play, more collisions. it's going to continue like that, and you do need some depth. Players are going to get hurt if we keep running into each other.
Stephen, how do you see this second half panning out?
Well, I think we just need to get our hands on the ball. You know, we need to get Paddy Jackson into the game. We need to see more of Charles Piatow with ball in hand, and hopefully we can get another score. And maybe the Munster boys will be out the gate, but you know, this Munster team has got plenty of quality in it, and they're not going to go away.
Okay, Stephen, Eddie, thanks very much indeed. We'll hear more from you later. Don't forget the final episode of The Fall tonight coming up on BBC Two straight after the rugby tonight. Sit back for now though, enjoy the second half with Ryan and Jim.
Well, I think Charles Piatow is becoming as big a cult figure in this part of the world as perhaps Jamie Dornan is. Maybe not quite the big bucks, but I would say he's pretty close. Score of the first try, Rob Little score of the second, and then right on half-time when Ulster would have been happy with a 14-0 lead at the interval. Back came Munster and they pressed and pressed, and Rory Scannell got their unconverted try. So 14-5, first score of the second half is going to be pretty crucial. And it's going to be Ian Keatley to start, and it's an area at which Ulster have not been terribly adept. That's a big high kick. Luke Marshall gathers it in, and he's well tackled by Darren Sweetenham. Munster scrapping away, and what have Ulster done? Held onto the ball and have given away the first penalty of the second half, and that is not the start that Ulster wanted. These are tiny little errors and will infuriate the coaching staff.
Yeah, the positioning of that kick particularly well, and then the ball and all tackle as soon as the receiver had that. It was Jaco Tauta again, not the first time this evening. He's been dominant in that breakdown area, and he latches on quickly. Ulster retreating to try and get around the corner and behind the ball to affect it, and you can see that energising aspect of play that Jaco Tauta brings.
Well, they say that the restart is the third set piece, and Ulster's scrum has been pretty good. The line-out has been excellent, but this is an area which has not been good. Ian Keatley has not had a successful evening with the kicking, but wouldn't it be just like him to nail this one and close the gap even further? Off the post, gathered in by Ulster. Well, no luck for Ian Keatley. Not from three, as they say, statistically. Picked up by Clive Ross, who makes a decent bit of ground on for the unfortunate Roger Wilson. So Ulster really riding their luck here in terms of Munster missed chances. Dan Toohey has had a very productive game out of touch. Sets it up. Pienaar now to Jackson. Jackson's caught hold of that quite well, but just as far as Andrew Conway, who will run. Tackled by Piatow initially. Duncan Williams. Dave Kilcoyne. Franco van der Merwe made the tackle. Keatley into the corner. Well, I'm not sure what Little was doing there. He let it go, and it's gone into touch, and that should be an Ulster line-out unless it touched Rob Little, which it didn't. There was a bit of palpitation there, didn't he?
Yeah, looking for the bounce when it wasn't there. Probably did the right thing and didn't try to force the pick-up or live to fight another day. Get the line out, secure that, look for Pienaar's box kick, but be surprised if they don't go to Rory Scannell at some point, kicking for goal or looking at other options that they can use. At some stage, you've just got to call it and make that change.
Of course, the man rested by Munster tonight, Tyler Blendall, has been doing most of the kicking. And Nigel Owens will not incur the delight of the Kingspan crowd by saying that that throw from Rob Herring wasn't straight, and that's given Munster a 5-metre scrum. So not able to control the restart and giving away a 5-metre scrum, not what Ulster wanted at the start of this second half.
Yeah, at 14-0, probably against the run of play, to have that scoreline, they would have been feeling pretty good, if not about the performance, albeit the defence was very good. And then that try just before half-time, and then another point-scoring opportunity just after half-time, and it's giving Munster some purchase in this game.
Munster have moved, I was going to say, everybody out to the open side, but somebody's just coming and looking on the blind side. This is Ronan O'Mahony. First scrum of the second half then. Duncan Williams with a put in for Munster. Options on the narrow side if they choose to take them, but they've got to secure the scrum, and they've done just that. Ulster trying to get a squeeze on. O'Donoghue at the back will try to bring it over. Now he picks it up. Here goes O'Donoghue. Good tackle by Reedy. Penalty against Munster for doing some very, very deliberate and Well, almost dangerous clearing out, and it was Rory Scannell, the man who did that. Ulster defended well, and from Jack O'Donoghue's forward drive, but Scannell was guilty of taking the man out.
Yeah, excellent pick from the back and made some very good ground. Hit the contact, and then Scannell just coming in from an angle deemed to be not through the back there and taking a player out, and pressure release there for Ulster.
Paddy Jackson makes no mistake with the touch find. Almost 5 minutes gone in the second half, 14-5 as it was at the interval. Ulster had to make 2 replacements in the first half. First of all, Darren Cave went off to be replaced by Rob Little, who scored the second try. And then just before the interval, Roger Wilson went off. Rassie Rasmus just saying we should be doing this and we should be doing that. Herring. Again, Tui wins it at the front, under a little bit of pressure this time. Ulster hanging on. Ruan Pienaar calls for the ball. Oh, he decides to run it now. Jackson. Well away by Pieta. Lovely pass. Here comes Gilroy with Little outside him. Now he trusts him. Little will do a wee chip, and he does a little chip. That's a good chip, and Gilroy's legging it. And all the way back goes Ronan O'Mahony. And Ulster have come right across the pitch to the best part of 100 metres. Right diagonally from one corner to the other. Munster have the ball, and Williams kicks. And Ulster will get the line out. Well, that was enterprise indeed, when it looked as if Ruan Pienaar was shaping up to kick.
Yeah, somewhat unpredictable from Ulster, and it certainly caught Munster napping there in the wider channels and created some space. Pressure offload, and Gilroy's the man who gets into space, draws, and a clever little kick here just to keep the ball alive, and excellent chase again, not for the first time by Gilroy. Creates that pressure on Munster, who managed to relieve, but only to just outside their 22.
And Paddy Jackson and Sean Reedy both there very quickly. Pienaar, Jackson, taken on by Reedy in the middle of the park. Luke Marshall went in as a clearing out flank forward. On the ground for Rob Herring after Vian Herb set it up. Reedy again. And Munster's defence being tested. Good counter-rucking, almost put Pienaar off the stride. Franco van der Merwe. Pienaar, Marshall. Big tackle by Ronan O'Mahony. Ulster win it again, Callum Black. Tommy O'Donnell made the tackle. Pienaar, Dan Tui. Quicker ball, not a lot out wide. There's Pieta, hopping the skip and a dance and a hand-off, and the whole bag of tricks. Pienaar, Robbie Dyack. Got the body low. Ruan Pienaar, Tui. Big hit from Jaco Taute, the Springbok. Pienaar, Tommy Bowe, haven't seen much of him. That's not a bad kick by Tommy Bowe, and Rob Little was pretty close to latching onto that one. Should Ulster have kept that in hand?
Well, assessing their options, for the first time they have gone through a number of phases, and just seeing a little opportunity out wide and a little bit more elevation on the ball, or a more fortunate bounce, and that may have been Ulster sprinting in for their third try. But at least they've had some time in possession now in opposition territory. The same things that plagued Munster in the first half, that converting of field possession into points, letting them down again.
Niall Scannell, lineouts have gone pretty much according to throw, but not on that occasion. And that might well have hit Nigel Owens, and if it has hit Nigel Owens, then it will be advantage to somebody or other. But it was knocked on, according to Nigel, if he doesn't mind me calling him that, in the line-out, so it's going to be a scrum to Ulster anyway. I see Kyle McCall on the far side, thinking about maybe warming up.
In a fine drizzle now descending upon Kingspan Stadium, and that'll temper Ulster's ambition in that wider channel. Just that thin film of water will make handling difficult. They're lining out far to this right-hand side and looking to see which strike move they employ. Little standing threateningly just in behind Paddy Jackson.
We keep the same standards, piece of the last scrum. Crouch. Bind.
Vian Herb's first senior game since the start of this year for Ulster. Oh, he's nailed that scrum well. That's good body position by Vian Herbst. Great scrummaging by the South African. Luke Marshall tried to bludgeon his way through. Pienaar. Piatau. Tackled by Scannell in the middle of the park. Ulster moving forward. Tui takes the tackle. Gilroy in to help. Pienaar again. Got it away to Reedy. Assist from Robbie Dyack.
He's stuck. Nothing he can do. He's stuck there.
Crowd gone very quiet. Now Jackson. Rob Herring into Rory Scannell. Ulster move forward again. Pienaar. Piatau. Gilroy. Marshall in to help him. Taken on by Clive Ross. Oh, he's done well to set that up nicely. Now Pienaar. Tui. Big hit by Jaco Tauta, but Tui's done pretty well. Ball's come back on the Munster side, and Ulster might just have regained it. Referee Mulhat hearing nothing from his assistant on the near side. Luke Marshall puts a little bit of oomph into it, helped by Rob Herring as captain. Crowd starting to give voice a little bit more. Here comes Clive Ross again. Almost up to the 22. Tackle was by Donica Ryan. Pienaar changes direction. Well, Munster again digging in and making life very difficult for Ulster at the breakdown. Now it's Piatau. Holland with the tackle. Jackson. Marshall, nicely done by Jackson. Tackle from Conway, looked pretty legal from up here. Dan Tui. Thumped by Tommy O'Donnell among others. Clive Ross on the charge, ignored. Gilroy, Piatau. Beautiful pass. Sean Reedy spins out of the first tackle, now to Little. Scored that extraordinary wriggly try at the end of the first half. Speaking of wriggly men, here's Craig Gilroy. Jackson. Good pressure now building up from Ulster. Franco van der Merwe. Pienaar. Jackson. Tommy Bowe. Still the Pro 12's top try scorer by some distance. Robbie Dyack. Tackled by O'Mahony, his opposite number. Ball back untidily on Ulster's side. Good work by Clive Ross. Wee bit of momentum here. Pienaar, Jackson, nice to Luke Marshall. Good defending by Andrew Conway on the Ulster centre. Bowe at scrum half. Clive Ross, who's had a productive start to this second half. Pienaar again. Robbie Dyack. Again, good presentation. Pienaar with options. Piatau. Oh, he's still going. Scannell brings him down. Craig Gilroy trying to do what Scannell did at the end of the first half. Again is Clive Ross. Held up by Jack O'Donoghue. Good defensive work by Munster's young number 8. Tui runs into the formidable presence of Dave Kilcoyne. There's a chance here if they shift this. They put it back into Gilroy. Now they may have a chance to shift it again if Pienaar can get his mitts on it. Jackson. Gone wide. Reedy. Well clattered, but he's regained possession. Now it's Little. Good presentation by Rob Little and stolen by Munster. Nothing wrong with that. And away they go. And Ulster will have to be very careful. Good covering tackle by Luke Marshall into touch. And having been in a position where a try seemed eminently scoreable, Ulster very nearly looked like they might concede one. What a game this is.
Yeah, not a huge amount to shout about in terms of width and back play, but you have to admire the defence of both these teams under the pressure for long periods. Ulster managing to get some continuity, and look at that desperate defence from Marshall, tracking back to ensure that 2-on-1 didn't get converted into a try. And certainly this game hasn't been short on effort. It's been brutal, it's been extremely physical, and as we see some subs being thrown into the fray, much needed, I'm sure.
Munster bringing on number 20, Robin Copeland, and somebody else coming on, we can tell in a moment. Luke Marshall seems to be fine, but a good Tautu is away. hand off. Ruan Pienaar just held on to him, and there was a good support play from Andrew Conway. In fact, it was Darren Sweetenham, but what a good covering tackle that was by Luke Marshall. That might well have been a try-saving tackle.
Yeah, substitutes will be vital, and their impact will need to be measured. They'll need to keep the intensity both teams are playing with, and Copeland, a huge physical specimen, he'll look to slot into that back row and add some further impetus with tired legs on the pitch.
And come back to his native island after several seasons playing well with the Cardiff Blues, capped just once by Ireland, and of course there's a lot of good back row players around in Ireland at the moment. One of those just right in the middle of your picture, one Peter O'Mahony, the Munster skipper. You just got the feeling as the rain starts to just mizzle down, rather unfortunately, that had Ulster scored there, Ryan, it might well have been game over.
Yeah, that would create a significant difference points wise, and with the rain starting to come down, that might tighten the game up.
Well won by Ulster. Pienaar, Jackson, a good old-fashioned, much beloved of Munster, Gary Owen, knocked back to Ulster. Gilroy, Piatow dropped it. You somehow don't really think about people like Ruan Pienaar and George Piatow making mistakes, do you?
No, excellent work by Tommy Bowe in the air, getting to it first and tapping that one back, and real opportunity now from Munster. Again, they've had opportunities in this second half and need to get some points on the board early to keep that momentum.
Well, Keatley has given the ball a fair old wallop, and he's given Munster a very good position. 14 minutes played in the second half. 14 points for Ulster, 5 for Munster. 2 tries to 1 for the current league leaders. They will not want to lose this game. Scannell, the hooker, to throw. Good challenge by Ulster, but Munster have won it well. It's a very efficient piece of line-out play. And here comes the red rumble. This is within penalty range, and Ulster don't want to be doing that, giving away a penalty. Still there with Munster. Referee has said that once, they have to play it now. Ronan O'Mahony pulls in the outside half position. Takes it nicely. Still there for Munster. Paddy Jackson, I think, has taken a bang to the head. Duncan Williams, it's gone forward. And Ulster get away with it yet again, but for how much longer?
Well, a recurring theme for Munster is getting into that field position where you would feel with ball in hand, they should be able to convert all of that pressure and territory into points, but an individual mistake again. Some excellent defence from Ulster, and Ulster now the opportunity to clear.
Well, Luke Marshall has really put himself about this evening. He's taken an awful lot of an awful battering. Got himself knocked to the ground there.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going, boys. You've been excellent in these scrums.
Well, it's not just as bad as it was last Saturday when Ulster squeaked home against the Exeter Chiefs, but it's not going to help.
Who are we waiting for? Can we get on with them, please?
Nigel Owens just saying, what are we waiting for? Please, can we get on? Ever polite, Nigel, but don't mistake politeness for weakness, I can tell you.
Time on when I call the coach. Shoulders out, lads, please, and keep the same standard now.
Ulster scrum.
Crouch. Bind.
Ulster have split their forces, 3 on either side behind this scrummage. And it's been a good scrum. Pienaar has a little go himself. Now to Piatow inside his 22, and he's given that an enormous wallop. Well covered back though by Andrew Conway. Now where's that going to go? Into the arms of Rob Little. Pienaar. Well taken by Callum Black. Ulster have lost a wee bit of ground. Now Pienaar. There's a huge gap there. Here goes Piatow. Trying to get the ball away. Tackled by O'Donoghue. Back on the Munster side. Munster doing good work at the breakdown.
Hands away now, lost.
Those crucial turnovers could be decisive. Kick now all the way down to Tommy Bowe. Craig Gilroy.
Let him go! No, fine.
Craig Gilroy had to push his way through a couple of Munster defenders. That's a clever kick. Rob Little. Oh, a very good kick from Rob Little. My word, that was a superbly good kick.
They're showing some outstanding elusive skills in the first half to score that try, and then showing a lot of composure on that occasion, dropping back deep to field that kick and then executing a wonderful clearance.
Kyle McCall relishing, coming on the field. Callum Black's had a very good evening at the scrum. It's Munster's ball. O'Mahony takes it at the front and Munster drive forward. This is how they broke Glasgow Hearts last week at a pulsating and emotionally charged Thomond Park in Limerick. And look how much ground they've made, and Ulster have to give ground. They need more men in behind the ball carrier. Ulster pack starting to struggle. That was knocked forward by Munster. The referee said play on. Pienaar into a wee bit of space as Keatley goes back. He's on his own, and Ulster trying to get him into touch if they can. And the touch judge's flag goes up, and Ulster somehow have got the line out and somehow have got possession.
An outstanding driving maul from Munster initially. They made huge ground and then looked like an Ulster hand came around and knocked that ball down, not picked up by the referee, and they'll certainly take that as we see them charging forward, and just that hand coming through, not sure whose it was, but ultimately penalty, and Pienaar cleverly kicking it forward. Excellent chase again. Kick chase from Ulster has been outstanding all night, as has their defence.
Just over 21 minutes remaining. Van der Merwe this time. Pienaar to Jackson. Flat to Sean Reedy.
Text how you play.
Pienaar down to it. Impressive stuff from the second row. Jackson, Gilroy, now to Marshall. Better stuff by Ulster. Couldn't quite find Tommy Bowe, who was tracking him on the inside. Still there though for the men in white. Good sidestep once again by the twinkle-toed Reedy. Pienaar, Jackson, back inside, Robbie Dyack. Good burst. Again Pienaar, Rob Herring. A lot of pace and good skills. Pienaar again, Dyack.
Release.
Jackson, Piatow. It's not a good pass at all. And that's going to go into touch on the full, and Ulster will be lucky enough to get the line out. So again, that old cliche in sport, fine margins, Ryan.
Yeah, the juggle of the receipt of the ball and then trying to move that pass out into the midfield, and conditions now not great. See those little adjustments being made, and fortunately for Ulster that kick didn't stay in the field of play. See a number of substitutions taking place now as that defensive workload both teams, particularly Ulster, have had to go through will start to count.
Well, Vian Herbst, I think, is just cramping up a little bit, and for a man who's played just a little bit of an A game since he incurred a rather nasty groin injury months and months ago, he hasn't done too badly at all. Tommy O'Donnell has now officially left the field, and Robin Copeland, wearing number 20, is on for Munster, and Vian Herbst, solid citizen, seems to be fine.
Yeah, meat and milk must be cheap in South Africa. The size of that man, who's held down the scrum particularly well for Ulster tonight, and been called to do a big shift in his first game back with no recognised tight head on the bench. It'll be Andrew Warwick that covers that position.
Good line out once again by Ulster. Jackson puts a bit of air to it. In comes Tommy Bowe from the wing. Tries to time the jump, bounced off his head. That's gone back and taken in by Sweetenham. Under a bit of pressure there from Craig Gilroy and from the industrious Sean Reedy. And that's going to be an Ulster ball. And unfortunately, Andrew Conway is down injured. There was nothing deliberate about it. I think it was just a bit of a clash with Tommy Bowe. A good chasing by Bowe.
John, make sure you try and
We are into the last quarter of this game, and Ulster leading by 14 points to 5. A win would cement their place at the top of this league. And what's another big weekend? Bow, up he goes, eye on the ball, and well, both sets of arms intertwined, and there was nothing untoward in that. Bow's eyes on the ball all the way, and it bounced backward, I think, off Andrew Conway's shoulder before the Munster fullback hit the ground. Great to see those flags up here. Difficult couple of weeks for this Munster rugby family. It is very much an Ulster rugby family.
Yeah.
From Cardiff getting put to the sword on their home patch by the Scarlets. Edinburgh likewise by Zebra. That's interesting. And Glasgow, not surprisingly, back at Scotstoun up against Benetton Treviso as Andrew Conway leaves the field. And Alex Wooten, I think, is the man coming on for Munster.
Right, Munster, you stay where you are.
Sweetenham will revert to the fullback position. He's had an outstanding season thus far and showing his utility value across the back three.
It's a Munster line-out. It's superb yet again from Dan Toohey, who has been terrific at the front of that line-out. And here come the rest of the men in the white jerseys. And Munster, as you'd expect, digging in. Pinar, Jackson, Piatal, Jackson again. Well, it's gone loose yet again, and here come Munster, and Jackson's going to have to be quick, and he is quick. Well, you suddenly think Ulster are going to score, and they can't finish it off, and they find themselves 60 or 70 metres down the park.
Yeah, lacking that rhythm and fluency in the back line, and number of passes just not hitting the sweet spot there, reaching back for that one and then trying to flick that one out again. And it's been a consistent theme across Ulster's performance this evening, just some of those handling errors, lack of accuracy in the passing, and that's allowed Munster now to establish some field position.
Yeah, Alex Wooten, the 22-year-old, born in Macclesfield, incidentally. This time it's Franco van der Merwe wins it for Ulster.
Okay, see, okay now, stay there.
Well, the Ulster forwards thus far put in as consistent a shift as I've seen from them this season.
Hey there, Newson, please. Don't block, boys.
Pinar needs to find his touch, and he does. Not a lot of distance, but the ball is going into touch. It's going to be a Munster throw.
Yeah, Munster really needing to find a way to get some points on the board now. It's been a game dominated by defences, and Munster have been the team that have managed to have the patience and the ball security at the breakdown to go through multiple phases, and they'll be looking to employ this tactic as they work towards Ulster's line.
Both Munster subs on there, Alex Wooten and number 20, Robin Copeland, quickly taken to the front by Munster. Nice little variation. And they're going to try to drive forward and suck in those Munster tight defenders, or Ulster tight defenders, I should say. One comes Van der Merwe, really just hanging off to see if there's anybody going to be trying to come round that open side for Munster. Referee's telling them to get it away. Duncan Williams looking for a gap that wasn't there. Billy Holland, Robin Copeland. Good ground by Copeland. Marshall hangs on to him. Picked up by Niall Scannell. Munster pressing and shoving now. This is better from the visitors, looking for what could be a conclusive try here, or certainly a very important try. And they're not too far away again. This is great stuff by the Munster pack, and Ulster really have to dig in, and they have dug in. Duncan Williams looking for somebody on the narrow side. It's Niall Scannell again. Keatley helps to clean it out. Picked up by big John Ryan, the tight head prop. Robin Copeland waits, but is taken on. Ruan Pinar makes the tackle. Kilcoyne, again the pick up and drive from close range. Munster looking for their second try. They're so close. Can they squeeze over? They're pretty almost there. Drive forward by Jaco Tautev. Can he spin round? He can spin round. He's got the try, and Munster are more than back in this game. It seemed inevitable, Ulster gave away possession too easily, and Munster, as they always tend to do, pounced.
Well, they've managed to find a way to convert that tactic of pick and goes around the corner into a try. They did it through the pace of their recycling on this occasion as they continued to move closer to the line, and then eventually, once they'd exhausted that tactic, Jaco Tauta comes on a really hard line and battled his way over the line. A very astute acquisition once they had the injury to Francis Saeli and needed to bring in a hired gun on a short-term contract, and he's certainly delivering for Munster.
Well, you were right, Ryan, because it's Rory Scannell who's going to attempt the conversion, and if he'd been on from the start, who knows what might have happened. So all of a sudden, the Ulster looking comfortable at 14-0 just before the interval. It's far from comfortable. Ulster still in the lead, but Jaco Tauta, the 3 times capped Springbok, has got the Munster second try, and the conversion was good from Scannell, and it's 14-12. This is going to be a heck of a finish. Vian Herbst has left the field, having done particularly well in his comeback game, and on comes Andrew Warwick, who'll be playing for him somewhat out of position, but he's equally happy at tight head or loose head. Jackson with the restart. Duncan Williams skewed that one very slightly to give Ulster the line out in a pretty decent position.
Yeah, Ulster now will be looking back to their basics, secure this line-out ball. If they can get quality of possession off the top, but in these conditions it maybe bring it down and drive it, and then nice and physical short targets, go through those phases, spend some time in Munster territory, within penalty range or within drop goal range, and could come down to that.
Tui got it away. Little comes in off his wing. Pinar, Robbie Dyack. It's just past Keatley's tackle, but he's brought down. Pinar again. Jackson, Piatau. Needs to hold on to the ball. Munsterman in the way. Referee says get out of it, and he does. Clive Ross straight into Dave Kilcoyne, who shuffles him across the park. Pinar. Nicely done. Oh! That was headed forward there. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And Ulster have got it away. Jackson decides just to keep the lid on it, and that mightn't work out badly for Ulster. That is a heck of a kick by Paddy Jackson. And Robbie Little very quickly up to stop the quick throw being taken, and again Ulster just riding their luck a wee bit.
Yeah, very composed play by Paddy Jackson as that ball ended up. The looks like it comes off the head of Duncan Williams, and that sends Ulster back, and the offload. Paddy Jackson just calms things down, sees the space, executes the kick perfectly, and now pressure will come onto the Munster set piece.
Munster have shortened this line out 10 metres from their own line.
Stay, okay.
Taken by Holland. Old reliable. Keatley gets it away. Straight to the arms of Little. Inside to Gilroy. Back to Little, who loses his footing on what's becoming an increasingly slippery surface. Pinar. Andrew Warwick.
Release!
Still there for Ulster. Jackson employing the aerial route. Who's challenging? Answer is nobody. Piatau waits and thumps his man. It was Sweetenham at full-back who did well. Crowd having a really good roar at this, appealing to the referee for a penalty, and the referee duly obliges. Ulster will have the advantage, and no advantage coming. And Ulster have to go for the post for this, don't they, Ryan?
They certainly do, and put that one down to the chase. Excellent work in the tackle, and then getting onto the feet, rucking past the ball, and that causes the infringement for not rolling away, and Paddy Jackson an opportunity now to stretch that margin.
It was such a good kick, and it was very well taken by Darren Sweetenham, Cork-born, Cork senior hurler, and a man who's played international hockey at under 16 level for Ireland. I wonder what's going through his mind. Oh, just a wee stretch. Deary, deary, deary. Oh, off comes the head. Off comes the thinking cap. Quick scratch. Come on, lads, you can do this. Don't let me down. I'm sure they won't. Getting slightly more unpleasant by the second in terms of rain. Well, somebody set off a firework there or something just as Paddy Jackson kicked that ball. And I don't know what exactly caused that, but Paddy Jackson was certainly put off by it, and he missed that. So 14-12 it stays. Munster making another change. Ian Keatley is going off, and Dan Goggin is coming on, wearing number 23, which means probably Scannell will go to the outside half position. And Scannell does do the restarting. Underneath is Clive Ross, well taken. Looked up and he saw three red shirts closing him down. Somebody's lost a boot. Pienaar to Jackson. That's a good kick by Jackson. Good chasing there by Tommy Bowe. Lets his man catch the ball and has kept him up. Great work by Tommy Bowe. Robbie Dyack is in there as well, but Munster have done splendidly. Just over 10 minutes remaining, and tantalisingly 2 points between them. Ball back in the Munster side. Williams hasn't given that much in the way of distance. Ulster might just have pulled that in. I think they have, you know. Pienaar on the narrow side. Here's Piutau. Rob Herring, Ulster's captain. Now Pienaar again. Kyle McCall. Solid little competitor. Now Jackson. Gilroy. Spiraled out of the first tackle. Pienaar looking for this narrow side and near side. Jackson back inside to Reedy. Taken by Billy Holland. Now it's Van der Merwe. Now it's Jackson. Rode the tackle well. Clive Ross. Munster's defence has been very good. Pienaar to Gilroy at his shoulder. Scrabbles through the first tackle. Pienaar, that mightn't work out badly. Little just couldn't get the paw to it.
Well, Ulster now recognise where the game is and are certainly trying to establish field position in Munster's 22. That's where they'll need to play this game. They're the ones in the ascendancy on the scoreboard, and we're quite happy to play this down in deep Munster territory.
Irish international Stephen Archer coming on for John Ryan. What a great strength and depth they have in both front and back row departments. And Robbie Dyack is going off for Ulster, and on comes Conor Joyce. And the last time Conor Joyce played for Ulster was against Munster a couple of seasons ago down in Limerick, when very much an Ulster second team came away amazingly with a win. Now can Ulster challenge for this ball? Not really. Flip back to Scannell. Under a bit of pressure, hasn't found his touch, finds Tommy Bowe. Now Craig Gilroy. Gathered in by Sweetenham at fullback. He's brought that in field. Bowe and Little have to go all the way back. That's a huge kick by Sweetenham. Little just needs to take his time and find his touch. And he does both, but it's going to be a Munster line-out. 8.5 minutes to go, Ryan.
Yeah, excellent kick. Once you find turf, you've got every opportunity to send that chasing line down. You establish the field position, and then you force them to kick the touch, and it's Munster now who've got a net gain of about 20-odd metres, and they're put into the line-out.
Felix Jones with the woolly cap on had to stop playing because of serious injury, which is such a disappointment, but he's part of the Munster coaching panel. Ulster get up, make it difficult for Munster at the line-out. Knocked forward by Ulster, referee playing advantage to the visitors. Archer, this enormous tight head prop, makes some ground. Scannell. Gathered in by Gilroy. Back in the Ulster side. Tui takes it from his second row partner, Franco van der Merwe. Pienaar looking for runners down this near side. That's coming in field. Sweetenham gathers it well. And gets Tommy Bowe and Sean Reedy at the same time, but Munster have won it. Duncan Williams, there's a bit of a gap down this side. Into a bit of space, well covered by Pienaar.
Stay right, stay!
Jaco Tuite couldn't quite gather at the first attempt.
Stay there!
Luke Marshall, not in any great rush. And he's found a pretty decent touch. 7 minutes now remaining.
And Munster now need to secure possession from this line out, looking for those midfield targets. They've showed they can go through multiple phase play, and that's certainly what's required. They'll want to ensure that the remainder of this game is played inside Ulster territory. 2-point margin, they're susceptible to a penalty or a drop goal.
Well, the Munster pack have had a confab, and you can be sure that they're going to make the right decision. Straight to the front to Donnacha Ryan. And in the Irish squad recently, and Munster churning forward, looking for a penalty, because Rory Scannell might just be the man to land it if they get it. Here's Williams, has a go. Very nearly got through, and did get through enough to get it off to Ronan O'Mahony. O'Donoghue. Williams again. Peter O'Mahony. Somebody missed a tackle there. Here comes Duncan Williams. Churning forward, the men in red. Copeland runs a good angle to take the pass. Ulster must not give away a penalty here. And Munster looking for the try, never mind the penalty. Duncan Williams to Ronan O'Mahony, who's popping up everywhere it seems. Nigel Owens having a really good look to see what's going on at the breakdown. Back on the Munster side, Robin Copeland. Fresh legs for Munster. Williams again. Archer, more fresh legs and a huge frame. Williams changes the direction. Drop it, goal. And it's right between the Ulster posts. And for the second week in a row, we've seen a drop goal put the visitors ahead. Last week it was against Exeter, and Ulster came back. They've got to do it again.
Yeah, plenty of time left. Excellent composure from Munster. They worked their way into position. They weren't guilty of waiting too long. Once they had field position, it wasn't a great pass. It was an excellent adjustment. And then it was a sweetly kicked left footer that puts Munster ahead for the first time in this game at a crucial time.
Gathered in by Copeland. Now Ulster have just got to keep their concentration. But have Munster done another smash and grab here at Ravenhill? Last time they were here was in January when a late Keatley penalty won the game for them. There goes Gilroy, but he's well tackled by the replacement Wotton. It's like Paul Marshall is on the field.
Stay back, Red.
Jackson. Huge kick. Sweetenham goes back, well taken, calls for the fair catch. And that will give him plenty of time to put the ball into touch. And time is not on Ulster's side.
And Ulster would have liked that one just outside the 22, not to give him the comfort of calling that mark, and certainly winding down the clock, and that's a very good tactic. He'll walk up and make the mark, and Peter O'Mahony showing all his experience, but crucially it will be Ulster possession. They're going to have to work hard to get position for either a try or a field goal. Long way to go.
I didn't reward you there because the record form when you were the second
3.5 minutes
okay? And then you let it go.
to go. Ulster get the line out. It wasn't a penalty. It was a free kick, so to speak.
Yeah, the buzzword for Munster now will be discipline. Muscle up defensively. Trust your systems. Don't give away that penalty.
Good line-up by Conor Joyce. Paul Marshall. Sean Reedy up the middle. Marshall gets it away. Tui nicely done. Here comes Tommy Bowe. To Gilroy. Couldn't quite get it inside, but Ulster on the charge. If they can force themselves into penalty area, that will be just the job. Here's Andy Warwick. Paul Marshall, Jackson, Rob Herring, Ulster's captain. Referee having a good look. But Marshall needs to get this one away. He does to Franco van der Merwe, who's tackled by Billy Holland, who's had a great game for Munster as always. Clive Ross into contact. Not quite set up for the drop-it goal so far. Kyle McCall again. Tommy Bowes come in to help. Back to Jackson. Is he going to do it again for a second week in a row? Hello! It's gone wide. It's gone wide.
It just shaved that right-hand post. You wonder whether a couple more phases just to get a little bit closer. It was from long range and it looked sweet off the boot, but it just shaved that right-hand upright, and Munster will be in no hurry to get this one back. Expect this to be given everything. Kick long, strong defensive chase, and Ulster will try and get in position again for one more go at this.
Well, Munster not in any rush, and Scannell puts it long. Gathered in by Gilroy. Can Ulster conjure something up at the death here? Gilroy well tackled. Paul Marshall, now Jackson. Kyle McCall does well. Marshall. Ball coming back on the Ulster side, but it's slow. Munster rucking ferociously. Now it's Piatow. Sean Reedy can't force his way through. Just a minute remaining, and Ulster a point adrift. Conor Joyce. Marshall, Jackson. Luke Marshall. Away to two. He has to give it. Does give it. Well, Tommy Bowe couldn't gather it. Wasn't the greatest pass in the world, but it's gone into touch, and it's going to be a Munster line-out, and Franco van der Merwe challenging, and well, hearts and mouths, and none more so than in the case of the Ulster director of rugby, Les Kiss. 14-0 up, saw that gradually overhaul to 15-14 adrift, and here we are now with 30 seconds of this game remaining, and Munster have the possession and have the throw to the line-out.
Well, it'll be a knock-on, and they'll probably have the option of didn't actually go into touch, so they'll take the knock-on, which is probably a better option for them. Just need to lock this scrum out, look for a pick and go around the corner from the 8, maybe go one more phase, two more phases, protect the ball, ensure they aren't guilty of sealing off, and then kick that ball into touch as soon as it hit 80 minutes.
Well, the best Ulster can hope for in this situation is to try to squeeze some kind of a penalty out of Nigel Owens, but I think the Munster pack are sufficiently experienced not to do that. Kilcoyne on from the start, Scannell on from the start, Archer on the other side. It's a fairly hairy Munster pack. The Ulster pack have matched them and more than matched them. We thought at the start of this game it might be a case of the Munster forwards against the Ulster backs, but the Ulster forwards have performed splendidly. Didn't look altogether straight. Paul Marshall trying to get round and do a bit of disruption. Can Munster hang on to this for the next 20 seconds? Copeland's got away from the first tackle. Well, Munster, all they have to do now is to hang on to this ball for another couple of seconds and pop it in to touch, and it'll be a third successive win for the first time since before the Second World War. What an amazing performance this is going to be by Munster, and in it goes to touch, courtesy of Duncan Williams, but courtesy of a late drop goal by Rory Scannell. Munster have come to the Kingspan Stadium and won against Ulster. Final score, what a finish, what a game, and Ulster 14 and Munster 15.
And Rory Scannell named the man